Good morning. Let's take a look at some of the calls yesterday in a very interesting evening of Championship and Champions League footy. Well, despite a drift yesterday, Coventry delivered. The 1-1, slight mention on Telegram for members, possibility of laying that draw second half, and Coventry got a second consecutive 2-1 win at home. Ipswich, another 2-goal win at similar odds. Birmingham, I did mention a lay the draw second half. They were the dominant force. I hope members laid that draw. Sheffield Wednesday just eminently gettable all day long. Wrexham and Leicester, a lay the draw. I mentioned again. We looked at the stats at soccerstats.com, and these two sides, they don't do nil-nils. That was your angle in. You had between there and there to green up. So no excuses. If you laid the draw, you will have made a profit there. Remember, we're not after the final result as traders. We're just after the odds move. And that's what you would have got with that Wrexham goal. So some good calls. Neutral was the winner in the Champions League. A loss yesterday for me on Bodo Glimt, which was a pity. But it was a much changed Manchester City side, and the key Achilles heel for them was that young defender who was the cause of two of the goals. And then a red card for Rodri, the complete and utter Footballers not really renowned for their intelligence, which is a pity. So that was a loss there yesterday. Sporting Lisbon and Paris Saint-Germain laying the draw as a neutral would have bought you a break even. I did tell members to get out here because the draw odds would not have moved with a Suarez opener, given the dominance for Paris Saint-Germain. If you took a subtle hint that the draw was expected, then I hope you'd have profited with that Kvaratskhelia goal and a late winner from Suarez again doing the job. So neutral worked out there as a kind of a break even, I would say. The wrong team scoring the first goal, but that's the beauty of the laying the draw. You're not committed. You can get out. Elsewhere in the Champions League, not much else really appealing yesterday. I did lay Olympiacos 2-0 up because of Leverkusen's in-play stats end of the first half. I thought they'd continue on to the second half, but when you're laying at this low liability, it doesn't much matter. Saudi Arabia, I gave you a shout for Al Ali, a goal down, and Al Fatah. That was about a £20 liability loss for me there on Al Fatah. I don't want to get too fixated with the Saudi League. I think it's important to just stick to the teams that have all of these stars in them, in their ranks. Al Ali not necessarily reeking with stars, but they did come from behind, and like Al Hilal, they will be a side to follow. Looking at today's trading angles. Well, the England Championship, I won't be researching, but it will get a look in with the AI for members. Southampton, 1.53 favourites at home to Hull last match because of the Hull injury crisis, apparently. We're done 1-2. Sheffield United, we can have a quick look at their recent form as well. They usually, or at their best, have 3+ goals in them. Sheffield United. Saints not doing too well of late. They've lost that 3-goal winning habit that they had right at the beginning of that new manager. So that's a real pity. It's just gone a bit wayward now. They don't look that trustworthy. Sheffield Wednesday can sometimes threaten 2+ goals, as you can see quite regularly. So that threat is always there, but it's a difficult match to unpack because of that just lack in form for Southampton all of a sudden. Do please read these previews if you want a different angle. You see 2.2 the favourite, not the strongest match on the planet. Watford against Pompey. Why are Watford odds-on favourites today? Is it the league position of both of these two sides? Let's have a look. Watford are just outside the playoff places. A win for them today could take them into the top 6. So that's a huge booster. 4 wins in 5 as well, you can see there. And Pompey are in the relegation zone, but a win for them will take them out of the relegation zone. So you'll be laying that draw, certainly, tonight in that particular match. That's for sure. Wouldn't be discounting Pompey at this stage of the season. These sides do tend to grind out something in the most unlikely of matches, a bit like Sporting and PSG yesterday. Stoke and Middlesbrough, too tough to call, but notably, Middlesbrough will be delighted that they're starting to score those second half. They score goals. They've had this run failing to score, failed to score, and then suddenly getting 4 against the Saints, 1 against Fulham in the FA Cup, and 3 against West Brom. So you cannot discount Middlesbrough tonight. Stoke City coming off the back of 3 wins in 4 in all competitions. Have a look at their standings. It's a difficult league for me to research, so I'm not going to bother with that. It's far too difficult. But I do the AII for members. They can have an angle in. Stoke could go into the top 6 with a win today, and Middlesbrough could break into that important 50-point barrier. Winning it just at the right time, they could get into that top 2, even though they'll have played a game more than Ipswich. But that is a huge motivator for a side now finding 2 or 3 goals again. So I can't discount Middlesbrough at all this evening. Must have a really good shout. The odds, 2.3 the favourite, so they're not the hottest favs in town. Champions League, I've given it a small look in. Lots of odds on favourites at home. Atalanta, Bayern Munich, Chelsea under Rosinia, Juve. Benfica must win though. I wouldn't be discounting Benfica today. They've pulled off a couple of big wins, including against Napoli, 2-0 wins. So the special one will have something special up his sleeve this evening. That looks far too short for the old lady. Newcastle against PSV Eindhoven. I'd be very careful if I was Newcastle as well. So let's take a quick look through the very basic research. 2 consecutive 1-0 defeats for Galatasaray, and they play Atletico Madrid, who know how to do a 1-0, don't they? Karabakh and Frankfurt, 22nd against 30th. So these two really need to get a move on, particularly Frankfurt. Frankfurt, well, Karabakh, 3 losses and a defeat, conceding at least 2 goals, and an ability to score 3 in 3 out of 4 of those matches and score 2 goals on 2 occasions. I think Frankfurt might be eyeing that 2-goal habit this evening. They do have the ability to score 2 or 3 goals in the Bundesliga. So that could be an interesting match. I would take on any Karabakh lead, I think, this evening. Atalanta and Atletico Bilbao, 5th against 28th. It's needs must for Atletico Bilbao. They must win to break into the top 24. 2 consecutive 0-0s, including against PSG. So can they quiet Atalanta? It'll be an interesting watch. In-play stats will be a key portion there. 0-0's not out of the question for Bilbao, but it's not enough when you're 28th. Bayern Munich against St. Gilloise, 22nd against 27th. Again, it's must-win territory for Union St. Gilloise, who lost 4-0 against Inter and Newcastle. And Bayern Munich are a step above those two. So you do fear for Union St. Gilloise today. They could be on the end of a 3-4 goal thrashing. Chelsea against Paphos. Well, we don't know much about Liam Rosinia in Europe. 13th against 26th. Again, Paphos must start picking up points to break into that top 24. Juve did huff and puff to a 2-0 win against Paphos, who are far tighter against strugglers. Chelsea might have a good chance here this evening, but we just don't know with that new manager element Juve against Benfica, you can't discount, as I've already alluded to, the special one. Getting a couple of big wins in a row. 2 consecutive wins to nil, including an impressive win against another Italian side in Napoli. So watch out this evening. Benfica could overturn those odds. Marseille against Liverpool. It's going to be a very tough act for Liverpool this evening. Marseille were solid and beat Newcastle with home advantage. 16th against 9th. Last 4 matches have all been 1 goal in it for Marseille in the Champions League. Liverpool, 4 of Liverpool's last 5 scorelines have been 1-0. So that's their tactic in Europe. It's probably not going to help this evening away at Marseille. It's going to be a tough encounter for Liverpool. I wouldn't have them at odds on. Newcastle against PSV. Strong both teams to score pattern for PSV. They've lost only 1 of 4 matches. So Newcastle's odds again are a tad short, given PSV have beaten Napoli and Liverpool. So that, you could even lay that at the off if you fancied it, but certainly lay a Newcastle lead would be the value call there. Slavia Prague against Barcelona, 33rd against 15th. So Slavia Prague are on a run of 0-0s at the moment. They drew 0-0 with Atalanta and Atletico Bilbao. So it could be set up to frustrate Barcelona. Watch out for that. Could be an interesting one. I think Barcelona lost, didn't they, to Real Sociedad at the weekend. So 0-0 is in play there. Watch out for that match. And I might as well throw in AZ Alkmaar and Excelsior. This looks like what I call a redemption match today. AZ Alkmaar are in poor form. Only 1 win in 7. This is the kind of research you'll get every day at FootballTradingProfits.com. They've scored and conceded in all bar 1 at home against second and lower. So if Excelsior score today and score first, they should be layable. This is a good opportunity, given Excelsior have 8 losses and 2 wins against the top 10. Good opportunity for AZ Alkmaar to return to winning ways after that really poor run. A small mention for the Saudi Arabian Professional League. Mostly, I would be with the odds. Twice now with Al Hilal and the other side, who I can't remember. It is available at soccerstats.com. So I would only really focus on Al Nassr. I think the very strong favourite here today. Twice now in a row, the odds-on favourites have delivered. And you can already see from the challenge table, Al Nassr are 3rd. Al Hilal and Al Ali. Al Ali yesterday, Al Hilal a couple of days ago. Rely on these top 3, I think, would be your angles in. Look at all of this. Solid, solid, solid. And they're playing Damak, who do score and concede, but they don't win at home. They haven't played the top, well, 2nd to 5th, but look at all this form. 2+ goals scored as well for Al Nassr against second and lower away from home. It's looking good. Let's just hope that Damak score the first goal. The other 2 matches, I wouldn't be looking immediately. Pre-match, 2.25 and 2.4 the favourite. No, thank you. Let's stick with the big boys. Al Nassr are likely to have some quality stars on board, filling up their retirement fund very handsomely indeed. So that's it. I will try to do a go live, but I couldn't do one yesterday. I had to look after my old ma. And I do get a bit tired, to be honest, getting to 7:45 in the evening, having done a full day, because I got all my money stolen. So I have to try and I'm working on a number of websites to try to build a business up so I can get an income coming in above and beyond this present income. So I do get a little bit exhausted when it gets to late in the evening. I do want to do a go live because I think it will be very beneficial for the channel and beneficial for you. So do make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel at Football Trading Profits. And if I pop on a go live, I will see you. Let's have a look at the kickoffs. Looks like 7:45 would be the ideal time. Would cover the Southampton-Sheffield Wednesday match, where it's a difficult one to call. But we'll move into the 8 o'clocks. And to be honest, we made more calls in the Championship, more profitable calls in the Championship than we did in the Champions League. So we've got to be very careful with this competition. That's another argument for not going on a go live. But do subscribe. And this is what you will see when you subscribe. If you go off to the Football Trading Profits channel, you'll see the channel layout. And you'll also see some of my music, which you can watch if you'd like. So this is how the channel will be seen by yourselves. Go here to the live section. And if there is a go live, it will be on at 8 o'clock. And it will just pop on here. It's called go live. So rather than me setting it up, I can just pop on. So look forward to that, possibly at 8 p.m. this evening. If I'm there, come along and you'll see it. E-letter on Saturday, Premier League research for free if you fancied it. Link in the description, and a 14-day free trial as well to footballtradingprofits.com if you fancy that as well. January to April, form lines are embedded. The challenge table, as you've just seen in Saudi Arabia, can give you really good angles in as well. Well, have a great day. I hope to see you a little bit later on Go Live. If not, I will see members on Telegram.